What do you know about Stuttgart? You know about rice and you know about ducks. We've been there. That's true. Rice and ducks. But it's deep. It's deep rice, it's deep ducks, and they love it. The whole town is surrounded by it. The whole town lives in it. We were lucky to visit it. Welcome to episode 2 of season 3. I'm John Wilkerson. There's something here. So we've introduced AI Soul Lightning Crashes.
No turning back now.
We are deep in. Again, I'm John Wilkerson. I'm here with my dear friend, the mighty Rib, Kevin Shalin. And in the back, the man with a plan, our producer, Ben Klein. Ben, introduce this music because, wow.
Well, you know, this is, like you said, we're on a AI kick. So this is the AI cover Western Soul, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin found it, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, we just keep passing along this music that's not real, that somehow is better than the real thing. I don't know.
You came in hot with this one this morning. You
I
said
did.
This is the best thing since sliced bread.
This is what we're opening with. I demand it.
We are doing this.
Yeah.
So the brown M&Ms that you need, and then this song were the
Yeah.
two demands of this show.
Yeah.
But you were right. This was fantastic.
Whew.
Now,
Perfect intro for our show.
yeah,
too.
it really is. Now, we did have to go through the yacht rock version to try to find
That was
The Yacht Rock version was pretty fun.
Ooh,
I think that was high. That was
It
high on my
fun.
list.
It
I
was
think
fun.
our 10 listeners and viewers are thankful that we did not choose the Yacht Rock one.
Yeah, well, this
Fair.
the Kurt
That's fair.
Cobain meets Chris Stapleton version of Smells Like Teen Spirit really is amazing.
Oh.
Well, again, Rice Ducks, Stuttgart. We're going to go there together here in a second. But first, Kevin and Ben took a trip without me
Yes.
Sure.
to Central High School, which we kind of highlighted the other day. But then
Yeah.
y'all went, and here it was a good time.
It was a great time, and like I said before, you know, the big part of it being such a great time is we didn't have the anchor that
Yeah.
is John Wilkerson with us.
Yeah, see, I
Felt
holding us
free.
down.
Felt
I
felt fast and loose.
I
There.
like
It
to
was
get
great.
in the shot, even though I'm not part of it. Yeah, all right.
You know, everything was going great. You know, until Kevin started passing out cigarettes. And
Yeah,
so I don't know if you want to explain that.
It went off the rails. So I was, you know, the teacher that I'm friends with, Beth Schul, she invited us out. Actually, she invited me because she saw that I was there a week prior or 2 weeks prior working on something. And I got to thinking, I said, yes, of course. I want to come talk to your class. It's the journalism class, the newspaper class. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, man, Ben really needs to come with me because they want to learn the ins and outs of podcasting. And I said, well, I can talk about the front of the camera, and Ben is all the technical stuff. And then they wanted to talk about some food writing as well. So we ended up showing up, and we just had a blast.
Yeah.
But about halfway through, the teacher, Beth, she's like, I got a little something for you, a little
Yeah.
treat. And she pulls out the candy cigarettes. Do you remember those
Oh,
as
yeah.
a kid?
Of course,
and,
yeah.
And then I got really excited.
Yeah.
Right? And
It was hilarious because, like, obviously you posted about it on your blog. You were like, Drug Emporium's got the great vintage candy section. That's where it
Yeah.
came from.
yeah.
And she, obviously a huge fan on Facebook, got you some of those candy cigarettes. And the only problem in this whole scenario is that the kids weren't clued in at all.
No.
It's,
No.
it's the teacher.
Nor have they ever seen or heard of candied cigarettes.
and
yeah.
I think
Oh.
the funniest part was, like, the more Kevin tried to explain, like, the worse it sounded. He's like, well, kids, you see, like, so back in the day, they used to have
Yeah.
candy cigarettes, and
Yeah.
all it was just blank stares for the kids. And it was
And
very
I'm like,
funny.
there's two versions, and frankly, these aren't the good ones because the good ones are the gum ones because you can make a little puff of smoke.
Yes, I was
And
just
then-
going to say that.
And then I
Yeah.
look down, I'm like, these are actually the good ones. And I'm like, these are the good ones, y'all. We got the good ones. So yeah, it got a
It
little.
was
it
very
got-
funny explaining just an old
Yeah.
concept to the youths.
but other
Yeah.
other than that,
Right.
it was a
was solid.
I thought it was a very successful.
Yeah.
You know, a very successful. Like Ben and I really played off well with each
Mhm.
other. Like I sent it, threw it to him, he threw it back to me. and the kids got a lot out of it. I will
Yeah.
never forget like the look on their faces when Ben started like really digging into the technical aspects of podcasting, where I was just like, about to fall asleep, and they were like on the edge of I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. They were very excited, taking notes. You could tell they were getting a ton out of it. So, we're gonna have to get back out there,
Yeah.
sans John again, because I just don't know what you would really add to it other than
Oh yeah, nothing.
detract from the overall.
Yeah, I'd take
experience.
away. I would take
Yeah.
away. I'd say, hey,
Yeah.
have y'all heard of rotary phones?
Yeah.
And then like try to interject myself oddly there.
Yeah.
Or Kurt Cobain. They probably never heard of Kurt Cobain either.
Mm.
So no, it was he talked about it on the way to Stuttgart actually at
Yeah.
Old River Coffee Company. In fact, and we highlighted. I talked about how important you are, Ben, to everything we do, and
Oh, wow.
we can't do this without you. You could probably do this without us, me at least for sure. Like y'all have mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be pretty boring. Just
I'm gonna throw John under the bus again.
Yeah.
So he mentioned Old River Coffee Company. That we've been there before. We love it, and it was on our way to Stuttgart. And Ben, I'm gonna just throw this at you.
Yeah.
Like let's say you've had a cup of coffee at 9:30,
Okay.
and you're done. You had your cup, and then you pull up to a local establishment, hyper local
Mhm. Yeah,
establishment.
yeah.
The person that runs it, you are friends with, and you pull up to the drive-through, and you're with a friend, and that friend orders a cup of coffee. What
Okay.
would you do, Ben, if you've already had your morning cup of coffee, and it's 30 minutes later, and
Yeah.
and you're there to support a local friend in business?
I think you got to get another cup.
Really?
I think so.
Thank you for
maybe
being
even
a
an
decent
alternate
human
option.
being. Thank you.
Yeah.
My God.
It
I have-
doesn't sound like that was the case.
No, I have no defense, but well, except that I was going to get coffee in Stuttgart at Chit Chat and Chew, which was our first stop in Stuttgart. But granted, it was awkward, especially because I was in the driver's seat and we ordered drive-through, and so I had to hand her my own card because
Yeah.
I paid for it, which
Yeah.
I was happy to do. And she goes, she stopped, she grabs, she goes, "So nothing for you?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh man.
And I
No.
saw the disappointment. Brooke is just a wonderfully kind person. I mean, wow. And it hurt my heart. So I don't even want to know what she was going through. So yeah, that happens, I would say, every other time we do this.
It does. And then she doubled down. She made sure that I felt bad because it's 2 windows at Old River Coffee. And by the way, go to Old River Coffee. It's a great spot right there in Scott. But we go to the second window and she hands Kevin the 1 cup of coffee.
1 cup.
And then she hands us a bag of baked goods, which she said was for Kevin,
Yeah.
but really it was like, John, this is what you get, even though you are a
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you know.
And I'm gonna make sure that Brooke hears and sees all this.
Yes,
And-
I'm sorry, Brooke.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think the overarching theme here is that John hates small businesses. I
Mhm.
think is
really
is
that
the takeaway.
I mean, we've
that I'm
said it
getting.
once, and we'll
Yeah.
probably say it 1,000 times. We keep
Mhm.
doing this thing at this project. So yeah, it just kind of falls in line with what we've come to expect.
I only want to go to chains in these restaurants, but
Yeah.
Kevin will not let me. I mean, how many times have we passed a McDonald's? And I'm like, look, let's try the local McDonald's.
yeah.
John's a big box guy.
Big box guy, right?
Yeah.
But he saved his coffee drinking for Stuttgart.
I did. So I've been to Stuttgart a few times. I've represented Stuttgart in litigation before. And so, but I don't know Stuttgart very well. I've been to the city hall, and basically that was really it. So I did some research, and the first place that popped up several times was Chit Chat and Chew. And I thought breakfast at Chit Chat and Chew, and they have coffee. So I'll say, in my defense, I was saving my coffee for Chit Chat and Chew. And there, of course, is the sign right there. And it was an experience in Stuttgart. It was a great way to start the day in Stuttgart. I enjoyed it a great deal. Kevin?
Oh, I loved the experience. These are the type of places I am constantly searching out and looking for and wanting to partake in. And somehow you found it, which is crazy. I mean, you're really getting into my food lane, and
Yeah.
we'll discuss that further in a little bit. But
Better at it.
yeah, well, anyway, I walk into this place. I'm like, this is I love it. It's very rustic. It's filled with just a lot of like knickknacks, historical knickknacks, local.
All the
Some-
tables are different. All the chairs are different.
Yeah, I mean the chairs are like probably 60 years old,
Mhm.
and Miss Janice, who's running the show, she helped us, and she was really sweet and just welcoming. And this is a very simple menu, stick to your ribs type breakfast items. I got a bacon biscuit. John tried the biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and
We
gravy,
had
yeah.
some pancakes. So you know, it overall it was just a great experience. The food was rock solid good.
Hey, that's a good picture, by the way. Well
Yeah.
done on that one.
Yeah.
You can't find restaurants like I can anymore, but you can
But I
take
can
it. You
still
can take a good picture.
Yeah.
But you had
Hey,
the
yeah.
potatoes too.
Yeah,
At
the potatoes
Central, you
good.
gave a little how to take a food picture.
I
little
did.
tutorial.
I
Yeah.
gave a
Really?
little, just
Yeah,
a
you
very
did.
quick tutorial, just something for the children. You know, they, just gotta learn how to take a good food picture. Because I mean, the way the world we live in now, pictures matter. They're every bit as important as the words. And so yeah, that's what we did. But yeah, thank you. That was I have to say that was a pretty good
Yeah.
picture there.
So the pancakes were good. Pancakes had anise in it, which is the spice for licorice, which I always like anise in pancakes. At least that's what I tasted. But I'm not the food critic. You are.
Well,
I think
we
the anise
shall
was in
see
there.
about that.
But then what was interesting is they obviously had bacon, sausage, but they also had a mackerel jack cake.
Yeah, I think it was salmon. I think it was salmon.
I think it's mackerel.
It was
It was
mac-
listed as mackerel.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that's an old school thing that you just don't. You make it at home. It's you save some money, buy some usually canned salmon. I'm croquettes.
Yeah,
is the
that's what you
word it's
describe
called.
it as.
Yeah. So I made that. I made those at home last year and posted about it, and people lost their mind. Like, oh, I don't like croquettes, or maybe I think it's
Whoa.
one of these things that you had so much as a child, you just don't even want to think about them anymore. So it was a very old school dish. I've never seen it on a restaurant menu. So
Me neither.
for that, that respect, I thought it was great, and I'm glad you ordered it.
I'm going to dive into croquettes real quick. All of a sudden here, Ben, croquettes? Yes, no.
Isn't that the lawn game that you play when
Oh,
the
you
little
can.
mallets and things?
Yeah.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're too young to appreciate.
Don't-
Really?
I've never heard of a croquette.
Really? Oh
Uh-uh.
man, Zara, my wife Zara, she makes these chicken croquettes, which are kind of long, almost sausage,
Yeah.
link sausage sort of, and they just sort of break apart, melt in your
Oh.
mouth. They're amazing. But
Right.
my mom made salmon croquettes growing up, with just canned salmon and some
Yeah.
breadcrumbs, I guess, and it was terrific. I love croquettes.
Yeah, like I said, I made them last year. I loved them, but when I posted about them, people were like, I will never eat another one of those again. I'm
Oh,
so
man.
sick of them.
Wow.
So yeah.
Oh, well. So another picture you took that I doctored up a little bit was of the smoker. in-
Yeah, you did doctor that.
I thought
up.
that was a
You
good-
made. He is nice.
That's
You
a
did
nice
sort of-
edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here
He
it
made
is.
it
Thank
Black and
you.
white.
artistic. He fancies himself a photographer. He
that.
does it. Yeah. Okay.
But
All
that's
right.
the smoker. That's pretty
Ooh.
good, right?
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
I
okay.
captured that
You
moment.
nailed it.
Yeah, but that was the smoker, and I thought I think we both thought that's just great. I mean, there was just so much in that smoker.
I mean, this is sitting like to the right before you go into the restaurant. It really gives you an idea of the type of scene that we're talking about. Sets the mood and
Yeah.
just very reflective of the whole atmosphere, in which we both really enjoyed. The only downfall was we were kind of in a rush at breakfast because we had to meet the mayor, and we don't like to keep mayors, holding out, and because we know how busy they are.
So Janice comes up, and Janice is great people. She gave us a mini version of her life story because we were on a time crunch. I love it when people know that we're on a time crunch because we say it, and then they're like, "Okay, I'm respecting your time," and she did. But she gave us as much of the history of the place and her as she could, and then she mentioned kind of the throwback to other visits we've had. She goes, "We're actually the second Chit Chat and Chew." And we're like, yeah, we know that because we've been to the other Chit Chat and Chew in Searcy.
Mm-hmm.
And she said people sometimes call me like, "Where's my to-go order?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, that's from Searcy."
a little ways off.
Yeah, they're different places, but they spell chew differently.
Yeah.
But it was interesting.
And I think the one in Searcy is Chit Chat and Chew. I think this one is just Chit Chat Chew.
Oh, okay.
With
Oh, look at that.
CHOO.
All right,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
My other favorite part was we went in there and there were some folks in there, and I'm in a long sleeve shirt with a button down with
Yeah.
a sweater, and somebody says, "Y'all here to go duck hunting?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No."
Yeah.
and I remember he looked at me and goes, "Yeah, I kind of figured."
Yeah.
You folks don't look like you're from around here.
Yeah.
I did not dress like a duck hunter, but back to my intro. Ducks and rice are so critical to Stuttgart, and I knew that, but I never really knew how deep it really was in Stuttgart until we sat down with the mayor, and she could talk about ducks all day long. Mayor Norma Strabala, she's born and bred in Stuttgart, told stories about how she went duck hunting with her dad. She had nothing but sisters. So she was the oldest, so she went out instead of the retriever to grab
Yeah.
the ducks. She would go out there and grab the ducks, but the way she told it was so homey. And she goes, "I just like spending time with my dad." And back to my point about how deep duck hunting is in Stuttgart, that was the story that made me think, oh, I realize how deep it is there.
We've talked about this. It's interesting when we sit down with a mayor that is kind of new to you, that you may not know very well. And it takes us a few minutes to kind of get past that awkwardness of like, what are y'all really doing here? And what are y'all
Right.
about? And so we're constantly searching for topics that get people excited. And what was interesting about that one is like we brought up the duck hunting. You could immediately see that twinkle in her eye.
Mhm.
And like that was what took our conversation to the next level and really was like the start of that theme throughout the day of how important duck hunting is to this city, to their culture. And I love seeing that moment. We've done this a long time now. We've done it. We've met with many, many mayors. Some of them you have close relationships with. Some of them it might be the first time you're meeting them. And when we make that connection, it's a real kind of special moment.
Ben, have you ever gone duck hunting?
I have not actually. My son Max, he has been chomping at the bit to go, and so I think I'm gonna go soon. But yeah, we never hunted growing up. Which
Me
I
neither.
just I'd so I almost think that's something you have to do if you live in Arkansas, and I have yet to do it.
I'm with you. I've gone fishing before with my dad growing up a few times, but we weren't really fisher
Yeah.
people. Fishermen.
Fishermen.
We didn't
Yeah.
fish,
Yeah.
and we never went hunting at all. But yeah, I think duck hunting starts this weekend, if memory
Think
serves,
so.
the 22nd.
Yeah.
So
And we learned that there is a difference between duck hunting and geese hunting,
yes,
which I don't remember what it was at this moment, but I
Neither do I.
remember thinking I just kind of thought it was all the same thing.
yeah. Well,
And-
so the ducks are. I've heard this before from Blake Gary, who Ben, and
Yep.
you may have met over the years. He does duck hunting, and he's talked about how the migration pattern of ducks is changing. And I asked her about that, and she goes, "Well, yeah, the ducks are moving maybe a little bit, but the geese are coming in, and yes, there's a difference between them. But then, sorry, go back to ducks. My other favorite part of the story, I asked her, had there been fewer ducks? She goes, yeah, probably been fewer ducks. She goes, one time it was raining ducks, and I was like, what?
I can't stop thinking about that story.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
It had gotten so cold in the air.
Hailstorm.
Hailstorm.
Yeah.
And it was killing the ducks or freezing the ducks, and they were just falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
And
She
I
said
thought,
she remembered that as a kid. She vividly remembers just ducks falling out of the sky because of this. I believe it was a hailstorm that was killing them
Yeah.
midair.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really cool to hear her stories about duck hunting and how the duck hunting has changed for Stuttgart because a lot more people are hunting more north of us. So by the time the ducks get down to Stuttgart, they've already been shot at many
Mhm.
times. So that affects I think the flight patterns. So it was really interesting to hear it. Admittedly, a topic that I wasn't extremely interested in. And by the time we walked out of that her office, I was like, this is kind of fascinating. And again, you see how it has affected their lives in that town and how important it is.
yeah. And so duck hunting starts, obviously now runs, I think, until March or so. And we talked about the impact that it had. And she talks about all these great hunting lodges that I've heard about over the years. Jerry Jones has one. Kid Rock apparently has one. Ted Nugent, Hank Williams Jr. is down there. And how the airport just starts really having, from very few flights to dozens a day over the weekends, just people flying in to go duck hunting. And it was really cool. And then the last thing is, I remember she said this twice. She talked about the beauty of having a field covered with ducks and how that's not as much anymore. But again, it was just, she painted this imagery in my head about how just beautiful ducks are. And we saw a little bit of it.
We did.
I didn't take a picture of it, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but the little bit that we saw was just, it really was something to see.
Yeah, it was really cool. I like I said, it wasn't a topic that I thought I would be fascinated with, and by the time we were done talking, I was like, this is pretty neat, and it is such a massive part of their economy for
Yeah.
a
Yes.
good chunk of the year. They're farmers, and then they flip that switch, and then their economy is basically run on all these people that are coming to visit, flying in, driving in, using these lodges, eating at the restaurants, and they have to completely shift to like a different different way of living. And it was kind of fascinating. I don't know if we've come across that in our travels.
No, and then, I was, again, Stuttgart, ducks and rice. And I thought, ducks, rice, they're kind of there together. And it was made clear to me very early on, and I've talked to other people about this. it's not ducks and rice, it's rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then duck is like the hobby. Now, it's more than just a hobby, obviously. I
Yeah.
mean, for the economy, it's super
Right.
important. But rice,
It's rice. Yeah.
it was amazing how they just sort of immediately were like, that's right. It's all right. And the museum we went to,
Yeah.
we'll talk about later, it's just really rice heavy. And Ben, I mean, you're from Central Arkansas, like
Yeah.
I am. Stuttgart, ducks and rice. You may have known this already, but to me, it was fascinating to realize how important agriculture is to that area.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like you said, it's something that I just kind of always associated with that part of Arkansas. My uncle worked for Riceland for a long time, and so he's been in that and in that business, and I just know. I mean, Arkansas is, I think it's the largest exporter of
Mhm.
rice in. I want to say the world, but I need to check my facts on that.
It
It's
is.
huge.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that's their motto. Like, we're the rice capital of the world,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
She talked about how there's I forgot what it was called. I had a picture of it. I'd say an incubator of ideas for rice producing and how people from Japan or China or wherever come over here to learn about how to make rice. And again, it's that deep seated rice culture. I mean, it's rice culture.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I mean, I guess I should have thought, but it was fascinating to hear them talk about it. And then you made a point about the rice mills and how you always know where you are in Stuttgart because you know where the rice mills are. And I thought that was a really interesting point.
Yeah, it was fascinating because I had just recently traveled to Atlanta, staying in downtown Atlanta for a night. And I'm walking around. I went to go get something to eat, and I'm walking like several blocks from my hotel. My hotel is one of those skyscrapers in downtown. And I remember thinking, like, all right, I don't really know quite where I'm at. And I look up, oh, there's my hotel. And I had that a week later. We're in Stuttgart, 10,000 people, tiny Stuttgart. And I had that same moment, like, where are we? And I looked and I found the rice mill, that same, function. And I just thought that was kind of cool. I had back to back memories like that. And yeah, the rice mills are beautiful. They're,
Yeah,
you know,
they are. They
if
really
I was
are.
a professional photographer or someone who's interested in photography, they've got their own distinct beauty that really just captivates me every time I see it.
I totally agree, and you realize the beauty of it the longer you're there, and how just it's sort of integrated with the rest of the town. Now there's Ricelands and Producers Rice, which are the
Mhm.
two big rice companies. But then there's Lennox,
Yeah.
which again, and actually it's funny. I walked into City Hall and saw a Lennox AC unit or whatever it is outside, and sure enough, they have a Lennox factory there, and they pull in employees from everywhere: Pine Bluff, DeWitt, just the whole Arkansas County, whole Prairie County. I mean, just every county surrounding Stuttgart. And it was really neat to see their emphasis on having jobs, which led them to say that our biggest challenge is getting housing here that's affordable because they want people to live in Stuttgart, obviously, spend their dollars during the week, during the day there, and also on the weekends. And you could tell the mayor knows this is the issue, and the chamber director we talked to later on. And it was just, it's fun to see that sort of level of understanding of a city that we get from these shows.
Yeah, and there's a lot of towns in that area around the Delta there that are struggling. And so we were at a town, Stuttgart, that I don't know if I can make the claim they're extremely prosperous, but it seems like the town is doing well. And a big part of it is like they're a town of 10,000 people that, oh, by the way, have three major corporations
Yeah.
that are headquartered there.
Right.
And that's a big deal. Well, not headquartered like Lennox is. I don't believe it's headquartered there, but they have a huge impact on that economy, which is, from what we kind of learned from the chamber, is that's rare in those parts. And it seems like a thriving town. And again, we've talked about this. We go to a lot of towns. Some of them, unfortunately, just don't have that
Right.
where they're thriving, and it's kind of tough to report on. But we definitely, obviously, life isn't perfect in Stuttgart, and we went through some areas of town that were, not extremely
use some
prosperous.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could use some help, but that's pretty typical of any
Right.
town. But as I'm kind of leading into the first structure that we visited, and what would you even call that? Like a convention center? What's like the official name of that?
I'll pitch to Ben on this one because he was there. I think you went there the first time, was the
Yeah.
same time I went there for the first time. So the Grand Prairie Center, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the Grand Prairie Center, and I believe, it has to have all of those, a lot of probably major those corporations pitched in to create this structure. I'm gathering, and there's huge Riceland rooms named after it, but it's just an incredible, check it out here. Structure just in the middle of town. Like you're
Yes.
driving along roads, fields, this. Oh my gosh, is this giant event center in there. And it was, I mean, it was impressive when we had our regional meeting there, but you guys went back there, it sounds like.
What-
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've got an inside shot and then a shot of the auditorium. That auditorium was first rate.
Yeah.
And we had like Ben mentioned, we had a regional meeting in there. There's the auditorium, and you can tell that it's acoustically set up with some acoustic design in mind, and that's from the stage. And it's probably 500 people in that room, and it really was amazing. And there's an inside shot down the hallway as well. And it's just a whole convention center, and it's gorgeous. Look at the lighting that comes through there.
Yeah, that's a good shot right there.
So I was blown away by it when I first saw it, and I hyped it up to you, Kevin. Did I overhype it?
No, you didn't. I mean, you might kind of undersold it. Like it's impressive. I don't think we've ever come across anything like that again in our travels. And I think Bethany from the chamber said like half of that was paid for privately.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think she made that comment. So you can see the impact of corporations, but you can also see that a community is supporting this. And I know we saw the Arkansas Symphony is going to be touring and using that facility, which is great. I hope they do even more of that. If I was a local musician, kind of mid-tier musician, it would be a wonderful facility, that auditorium to utilize. It was very impressive. It's about 10 years old, so it's still it's got that new feel to it.
Yeah. And I think on the last episode I mentioned that it wasn't being used, and it is being used. They disabused me of that notion, but the auditorium isn't being used as much, and that's why I want to highlight this. Speaking of the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra, they are doing a Home for the Holidays on December 6th. I want to highlight that for the city at 7 o'clock at the Riceland Auditorium, which is in the Grand Prairie Center. And actually, real quick, how close is Stuttgart to Little Rock?
I think it's like about an hour and 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an easy drive. You can stop and get coffee or not get coffee, depending on who you are. But you can stop on the way. And to have the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra there for Home for the Holidays, again on December 6th at 7 o'clock, sponsored by Riceland, back to the Rice is so critical. It's amazing to see. You want to see that auditorium used.
I'm really glad you point that out. It's an hour away, and if you're listening to this and you reside in Little Rock, North Little Rock, this is a fun day trip to do. Like, again, you can stop in Keogh, have a piece of pie at Charlotte's like we've done, have some coffee at Old River Coffee Company. I mean, Becca's SoCal's is opening a place up in Keogh. There's lots to do on the way. So when you get there, you can watch a nice concert in a more intimate setting that you would get in Little Rock, and the same level of talent.
Right.
And then you have a nice night and drive home, and you're probably home by 10 o'clock.
Yep, easy.
Yeah.
So as we drove around, you took a picture. I took a picture of the rice mills, but I did not do it justice, so I didn't want to try to use that picture. But you took a really good picture of a church, and it was a great photo from behind a tree, and the sun was hitting it just right, and it kind of to me highlighted some of what the downtown. It was right there in downtown ish, and so they have that church, which I think it was.
I think it was Catholic.
Was it Catholic church?
Yeah.
I forget which. And they had an auditorium or a little pavilion downtown, the little pocket park that's brand new, the Rotary Park downtown. They're really trying to revitalize. There's the picture right there.
Church.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great picture of that, and that's probably built in the early 1900s. And it's a beautiful church. And traveling, seeing pictures from around cathedrals and churches from around the world, that's a great church.
Yeah.
And so, but that was on the way to the museum, which is. I did not know what to expect when I heard about the Museum of the Arkansas Grand Prairie.
What a gem.
Oof. Ben, have you gone?
I have not, but I'm looking through these photos that y'all have, and it looks like fun. It looks like there's a lot of cool stuff.
I
in
don't
there.
know if we're kind of losers and, things like this might not be fun for others, but I hope that I think people will really enjoy this place.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fun, like legitimately fun, educational, really cool things.
Right.
Young and old, I think would really, really like this place.
Yeah. Ben, we sent you a bunch of pictures. Just throw them up whenever you want.
All right.
We'll talk because there's really no rhyme or reason to this. But okay,
Yeah.
first of all, the cars. And that was one of like 3 cars. There's a Model A or a Model T, I think, as well there.
Yeah.
And you notice that it's up against a backdrop of old Stuttgart main downtown. And so it's trying to capture what it looks like. And they did this several times in the museum, trying to show you what it was like in Stuttgart at that time. But the museum had 3 old cars. not to mention, see, look at, I love this image, right? So the red on the left is actual physical building, and on the right is a painting, again, to incorporate this small little area into what very old town Stuttgart looked like. I thought they did a really good job with all this.
They had a whole room for duck collars. Those, the what,
Duck collars?
Duck collars.
I think that's what they're called, yeah.
I mean, they had that. You kind of figured we were looking for that, and we finally found that room, and an entire room dedicated to that. A lot of equipment to use, like tractors and turbines, and I mean, a real essence of the history of this area that I think both of us kind of agreed that we don't think this place is being appreciated enough.
No.
I mean, I know we were there on a holiday, Veterans Day, and that kind of that also kind of affected some of our eating. But this place is a real jewel. It really is.
It is. And again, back to the importance of rice and soybeans, which I learned, by the way, that soybeans were actually planted to revitalize the ground. And if you're a farmer out there and you're listening, which tells me you're actually
maybe 1 out of
harvesting.
10
Yeah.
is a farmer.
I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
apparently it was there to try to get the soil going again after harvest or whenever. And then it just became a row crop, or I think it's a row crop, a big deal. And so it was rice and then soybeans. And back to something the mayor mentioned, there's a company maybe coming in to do something with rice hulls, and how you can make charcoal out of rice hulls, and then that gets the ground going again. And it was fascinating to really dive into a good museum that talked about agriculture.
And then right before we left, in typical John fashion, he made it completely awkward. Remember?
Okay. All right.
Yes, I love these. These are my favorites.
By the way,
I always count on it.
I want to go back to the rotisserie of guns and the duck thing real quick. Well, after this, but as I was walking out, I have to get something, right? Because I support local businesses, and I get the Pam Pam Supper Club. I don't know what the Pam Pam Supper Club is, but I'm sure it's something in Stuttgart, like it says here. I did some research, and I don't think it really is there anymore. But it's an old menu. It was $5. It was cool. It was
when
$5.
He says old menu, it's like 7 years old.
Yeah, so it's not that old.
Yeah,
but it's $5. Now I also want to contribute to the museum because it's a great museum. They didn't charge us anything.
You're a phenomenal person, too.
McKenna, thank you. McKenna shows us around. So I'm like, I don't have any money, cash to give. So I'm going to pay with a credit card. And I say, hey, $5, can you put $20 on my credit card, and then I'll just donate the other $15. And so she goes, yeah, sure. So she hands me the $15 because she's like, there's a little slot to put the donations in. I grab the $15, put it in, and she hands me the menu. She doesn't take my card. And I'm like, I owe you $20. No, I just gave you, she says, no, I just gave you the change. I was like, I know, but I didn't pay you $20. And so it was awkward.
And I'm standing right behind them. And then what do? Do you remember what I did?
No, I don't remember what you did.
I walked out.
Oh, yeah, that's typical. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting the heck out of here.
Yeah.
This is getting incredibly awkward, and I do what I do best when Don gets like this. I just leave. I leave the I remove myself from the situation, and then it's always the right call. It's always the right call.
Yeah.
So you robbed this museum.
No, I insisted, and she got a little. I think she got a little cross with me. Like, no, I already gave you your $15, and I said, no, but I haven't given you my 20 back. So
yeah.
Anyway, it all worked out. It was
pretty good grift.
At this point,
John.
we're gonna have to trust the end of the story because I didn't see it. I didn't witness it.
Oh, we did.
It was out.
Yeah, I need to pull up my receipt to make sure you know that I did that. No, it was funny. I mean, everybody had a good laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so no, that was great. But I do want to go back to the rotisserie of guns. So you go off to another room. I keep hitting this. You go off to another room, and I hear this sort of creaking, and so I walk back to see the creaking, and it's this, which is just rifles or probably shotguns on this rotisserie, and it's constantly moving. And so we go, and so they're just held up by leather straps.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a gun rotisserie, and now I want one because that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that the official term there?
I think it's a gun rotisserie.
We coined it.
Yeah, it's a gun rotisserie.
Trademark.
But that is right next to the ducks in the sort of fabricator created pond.
Oh yeah, let me pull that up. Hang on.
This is one of my favorite things too, because you get a sense of what it was like duck hunting.
I really
a little
hope
bit.
most of the people on this podcast are watching this one, not just listening. I mean,
I'm going
'cause
to describe
This
this
is a
one in detail.
multimedia pod
Yeah.
here.
I just like it's just neat.
That looks terrible. That picture.
Okay.
I mean, that is not your best work.
Well, I don't. It's tough to photograph. The
No,
light.
You're gonna have to
It's
really-
immersive.
Yeah,
You
you're
see
gonna
the-
really describe.
There's
that one.
birds and there's cattails and there's.
That is the opposite of your
water.
black and white smoker picture. That
but it
is-
captures the essence of
That
duck
does,
hunting.
it
Yeah,
does.
No,
it's
thank you.
chaos.
All right,
Right.
perfect. Chaos. There you go. See, you have
Chaos.
been duck hunting. It's chaos,
Yeah.
apparently. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, the other thing about it, we talked about dogs.
Dogs, yes.
How important dogs are to duck hunting. And I have a buddy who does quail hunting in Alabama, and he loves his dog because his dog just knows how to go get quail or whatever. I'm sure that's what they do. But there was a memorial to a dog with a picture of the dog and a letter that the owner had wrote about the dog.
Mhm.
And I forgot the guy's name, but his portrait was up to the left as well. But it was an ode to his dog, and it's a beautiful dog, of course. But again, Edgar Queenie, that's
Yep.
right.
About Mike.
Yeah, and so Mike was an outstanding dog, just as it is rare to find outstanding humans. And so it was awesome to, again, the
That's a great
culture
picture.
of duck hunting.
Yeah.
They just-
And the mayor said it too. That good dog. I kept hearing that throughout the day. That's
Yeah.
a good dog, and the importance of having a really good dog in the process.
So I would highlight, please go to the Museum of the Arkansas Grand Prairie. It is located at 921 East 4th Street, actually near the Grand Prairie Center as well. It's open Wednesday through Friday, 8 to 4, and Saturdays 10 to 4. Admission is free, and donations are always appreciated. That's what it says.
I think they're short
Yeah.
$20 right
Yeah,
now.
no, they are. They're a little poor because of the
Fleecing
name.
is not appreciated.
Well, then it's
Fleecing by city folk.
All right. So after that, we met Bethany Hildebrand.
Whoa. Back it up.
Oh,
Back it up. Because
Okay.
this was very important for the rest of our day. Because
Okay.
coffee enters the equation again.
yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So we're looking for a coffee shop to get coffee because obviously I'm 1 cup short. And so I see this Mexican restaurant called El Manin, I believe was the name of it. And I drive past it, and I don't really want food at that point, but I want coffee. And on the side of the building, I see a rooster holding a cup of coffee, which tells me that this restaurant serves coffee, and they're somewhat proud of their coffee. See right there, there's a rooster holding a cup of coffee. He's got a scarf on, everything. It's a blustery fall day in Stuttgart, and it was a nice day in Stuttgart for us. But it told me that we need coffee, and that's where we went to get coffee.
And this is where the food expert in me comes out here. If I have to, tout my abilities, 90% of restaurants, 9 times out of 10, restaurant coffee is just not good. Okay, and when you have coffee, dedicated coffee shops in the town that you would prefer to go to, or at least I would, because I know what the heck I'm doing. But then when you throw that statistic out at John's brain, it's now a challenge. We have got to stop. So he literally makes a Yui, hits a
Yeah,
pot,
hit a deep pothole.
in
Thought I
more
lost a tire.
John fashion,
Yeah.
typical John fashion, hits the pothole, jolts us, and then we go straight into this restaurant and proceed to order, quite frankly, one of the worst cups of coffee.
No,
I've
it
ever
was
had.
no. But then they had the corn cupcake thing. That
That
was
saved it.
fantastic.
That
yeah.
was good.
Now this is a good restaurant. Apparently, the mayor had mentioned it, or Bethany had mentioned it. But Ben, let me look to you on this one.
All right.
Okay. Granted, you don't see a lot of restaurants that are otherwise dedicated to lunch and dinner touting their coffee. You don't go in
It's
there
true.
thinking that's a place to get a cup of coffee. And in everybody's defense, I wouldn't either, except that, Ben, when you see a rooster holding a cup of coffee on the outside window, do you think they are somewhat interested in selling their coffee?
Yes, I would think so. But I mean, if we take another look, are we sure this is a cup of coffee? What if this is a cocoa rooster? You know,
It could be.
What
But
if-
they did have coffee, and they had a little station with sugar and Splenda and stirs and creamer. They were set up to serve coffee. That's all I'm saying.
I will say the domino effect this poor choice had for the rest of our day.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it was a domino effect.
Every restaurant apparently closes at 2 p.m.
Yeah,
And so because we spent our time well, at that place, we missed the 2 p.m. closings of the
I
restaurant.
won't name the restaurant because I'm a professional. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But we got to this one restaurant 5 minutes before they closed. We walked in. They did not look like they had any interest in serving us. I definitely caught a vibe. So we walked out immediately and with tails between our legs and so that was that. But
Rooster tails
yeah,
between our legs.
Yeah.
tails. So and then we went to open seasons. We were a little that
Late.
caused us to be a little late
Yeah.
there. They had closed at 2 that day, so we couldn't partake in open seasons. Which I've already been there. It's a good restaurant. It's beautiful, and it's filled with people in hunting garb. And I wanted John to see that, so we missed out on that as well. But we did I thought we finished the day quite well.
We did.
all things considered.
Well, because we ended up with Bethany. And
Yeah.
she's the chamber director in Stuttgart. And if you haven't met Bethany, you should. She grew up with Caleb. Caleb, obviously, Ben.
Yeah.
They were friends growing up. And Bethany really was great. And I liked her particularly well at the very beginning because as we meet her, we're walking back to her office and she turns to Kevin. She goes, I've emailed you before, Kevin, and you've ignored me. And I was like, you are my
Wow.
favorite person in the world right now.
Yeah,
I
put
don't
him on
even-
blast.
I don't even know if
immediately.
she said hello to me. Like I literally turn around, she's like, "You ignored me," and I was like, "I kind of like you."
She
Like,
had that teed up.
yeah,
she
she
was
really
ready.
did. She,
I thought she mouthed the curse word
Yeah.
at you, but I wasn't sure. But
I
now
mean, the
know
thing
it's
is,
for
she's
sure.
like, "You ignored me," and then she immediately turned around and started walking to her office. So I felt like I was kind of going to the principal's office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great though.
Yeah,
and
she was wonderful.
she's been there for 15 years, I believe. And by the way, the gumbo or the duck festival is coming up the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And the reason she had asked you, or emailed you is to be a judge for the gumbo cook-off, the world famous gumbo cook-off, which you blew off like it was nothing.
I didn't blow off. I reject.
No.
Blowing off is
The truth comes out.
Yeah, I replied to her and I said I couldn't do it. That's the difference. 'Cause I'm like,
That's not the story she told.
I definitely replied to her and I said I could not make that commitment, but I said you can keep asking me.
Oh my God, Ben, my God, this is so awkward. I couldn't save him from himself. And she brought it up again because she said, "Can you do it this year?" And he wouldn't commit at first. He did ultimately, to your credit, but he kept saying, "Listen, you can keep asking me." He kept saying that.
I
Like,
mean,
stop saying that. Just
I meant
you
it in
keep
a
a- I'll
way
keep-
of
I'll
like,
keep- I'll
don't
keep-
feel hesitant to ask me each year because I might say yes one of these years, and then I end up saying yes like 10 minutes later this year. And then the ball gets put in your court, and you're like, I don't know if I can. Make
I
it.
don't know.
I'll see.
I
what
didn't. I
can
never
do."
ignored the woman. So I'm not, yeah.
Hey, you can keep asking me all day.
You're still gonna
just-
get a no.
Don't let the awesomeness of me deter
It's
you
like
from
a
asking
challenge.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
oh,
that movie
it
where
re-
the guy's like, if you ask him 3 times, he has to tell the truth?
Is that liar?
It's something.
I don't know
Liar,
what that
liar,
is.
Jim
Yeah.
Carrey.
It's like, 3 times. Ah.
Yeah.
I don't
You got
know.
me.
He would tell the truth immediately. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm getting
Yeah.
that wrong. Anyway, yeah. In retrospect, I regret my comment. It didn't mean it like that, but it certainly
It came off like that.
It certainly did.
But you saved yourself. You did agree to judge the gumbo cook-off, which again, I've never been to the duck contest. It was great to meet Bethany. Again, she really had her finger on the pulse of Stuttgart. And the most impressive thing I thought about her was that they have the Rice Festival coming up like in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I said, how stressed are you? I know it's got to be tough. And she goes, nah. I mean, we've done this so many times. We're a well-oiled machine. And we actually sat around this morning talking about how we're not stressed out about this because we just know what we're doing. And that was really, to me, very impressive. And it showed me someone who has a control over what they're doing, which is great for the city of Stuttgart. So I really enjoyed meeting Bethany. And she was as good, if not better, than our friend Caleb described her as, because she really was fantastic.
Very impressive meeting. Like she's super professional, and you can tell more than anything, she cares about her job. And we love seeing that when we go to these places. It just makes a huge difference because her job is very important to that town.
Yeah.
And while we were sitting in that meeting, I'm like looking out, and her staff's with her, and they're doing a great job. So, yeah, that was a really good way, not to technically end the day, but like that was the descent of the day. We had about another hour and a half of left in Stuttgart, and that was a great meeting.
Yeah, it really was. So we go to Sheen, which is the kind of a Max Prairie Wing type, very fancy place.
Fancy.
Have you ever
Wow.
been to Sheen?
No,
Ben?
no. I'm
Man.
looking. Do y'all have photos of it? That's what I'm trying to find.
I took one photo
Yeah.
of the 12 days to duck season
Yeah.
photo,
Okay.
and it was really nice. It's got to be fairly new. Um,
Yeah,
it's
that can't be more than a year or two old. That place looked that was sparkling.
yeah, it was great, and the quality of products there, you could tell that they were really well made products. There was a pair of pants. I'm not even a duck hunter. I was like, I kind of like those pants because they seem warm during the winter. But it was a great location. We didn't go to Max. I've been to Max before. Max
Yeah.
Prairie Wings is, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
amazing. It's a whole other experience there. And then we have PJ's Coffee, which is a chain down on
It's
forgot.
John's favorite.
He was
Yes.
adamant. We're heading out of
Loves-
town. Today's over. And he's like, no, we've got to go to this PJ's Coffee. We have to double back and go to this PJ's. I'm like,
Sure.
all right, okay. And the truth is because it's a chain. He was
Right.
he was
Yeah.
really
He's a big corporate guy.
I didn't know it was a chain
Company man.
until
Yeah.
I saw it. There's one in El Dorado in the square as well.
I think he's got investments with
Mhm.
PJ's.
It's good. PJ's is better
It,
than
that
Starbucks.
it was really good actually.
Yeah, it was, and the service is great. I mean, it was nice. And by the way, so you have downtown Stuttgart, and then they talked about they being everybody we talked to about how on the highway that's where you can get more of the chains,
Mhm.
McDonald's and Subways and PJ's Coffee, of course. But it was neat to see that other side of Stuttgart. And then on the way out, we went to Tacos Guzman as our last stop in Stuttgart of the day.
Yeah, and apparently from the locals you'll hear there's a really good Mexican Mexican food restaurant scene in Stuttgart. So I'm glad we were able to do that, and the food was solid. I mean, I enjoyed. I had a burrito, and I forget what you had, like quesadilla.
Quesadillas, yeah,
So
with the
yeah,
guacamole.
it was a good way to end the day. You know, we both agreed that not the top end food trip of all of our adventures. You know, we've gone to a lot of these towns, and sometimes food will be front and center. I don't know if food was like really is what we're going to remember about that day. That said, we had a great time at Chit Chat Shoot. We had a good time at Guzman in the coffee place. But I think if I'm being constructively critical, I think a really good restaurant or two is what Stuttgart needs, a local
Yeah.
spot. And, you know, it'd be nice to see if when we get back there, if that happens.
Yeah, and again, because I stopped at the Rooster Coffee Place, we missed out on a couple of restaurants because of the timing. But they're going to open up full throttle for duck season, and open season. I've heard a lot about open season and Fry Guys, which is another kind of burger place that was near Chit Chat Chew, is another place I heard about. So I look forward to going back and getting more of the culinary sense of Stuttgart. But I can tell you from my perspective, and we've done this a lot of times, I think I dove into and understood a culture of a city better with Stuttgart than I have for a lot of cities that we've been to.
Completely agree. Completely.
So Ben, Stuttgart for you, right?
Yeah.
It's
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, we went up there for the regional meeting. I actually went to PJ's as well.
Ah,
That's
see,
good. See,
another nickel in my pocket.
Another big box guy.
Got to support our corporate
Yep.
partners there. But
Yeah,
no,
there's
we
only one of us here
had a
that
great-
cares.
had a great time in Stuttgart. It's a great city. You know, it supports that Delta area.
Mhm.
It's nice to see cities that are succeeding in the Delta because you know that's an area that typically, when you think about it, it's not one you think that's thriving. Right?
Absolutely. And I think under the leadership of the mayor, who knows what she's doing and is eager to help, and born and bred there, and then Bethany and the chamber side, they're really going all in, and it's really exciting for Stuttgart. I look forward to going back there over the years. Which, again, just an hour or so from Little Rock, easy hour or so from Little Rock, and so I would encourage everybody to get there. So that wraps us up for today, our second episode of season 3. Back to Kurt Cobain / Chris Stapleton. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Ben, as always, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Always good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for letting me drive you around and being your chauffeur. It's truly an honor. Everybody else, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy this one, and please listen more. And next time we see you where we see you, we promise you there'll be something there. Take care, everybody.